Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IS Academy. So today in this session I am going to tell you about the recent excavations which was done in Telangana. That means hoard of lead coins are found in Panigiri village of Telangana. Now these coins belongs to the kingdom called as Ikshvaku. So as you can see this, so this news was there in Deccan Herald newspaper. So this is related to your history as well as art and culture. Getting my point? So this can be important for your examination, UPSC examination. So these excavation, that is pots and hoards of lead coins which belongs to Ikshvaku period, are found in Panigiri village, Telangana. As you can see these pots, clear. So this news is there in the newspaper called as Deccan Herald. A wonderful article is there with respect to this excavation. Now, in this session I am going to discuss first of all with respect to excavation, and then we will discuss a short story of Ikshvaku kingdom. Clear? Now, Ikshvaku, who are also called as feudal lords of Satavahanas or feudatories of Satavahanas. Now, so first of all, now try to understand that hoard of lead coins belonging was found in Panigiri village at Telangana. Now the name Panigiri village, from where this name comes, so we need to understand etymology. Now etymology क्या कहती है that the name, now it seems that this village derive its name from the shape of a nearby hillock. Now hillock in the sense, so shape of nearby hillock, which means it looks like snake hood. It looks like snake hood. Getting my point? So let me tell you, in Sanskrit language, specifically in Sanskrit, Fani means snake and Giri means hillock. As you can see here, Fani means snake in Sanskrit language, clear? Giri means hillock. So the word Fani Giri came, so this is the etymology. So it is because of surrounding hillock areas, a shape, clear? Second important thing is location. Now what is the location of this place? Now it lies on the left bank of Bikeru rivulet. अब ये लोकेशन कहां पर है? It lies on the left bank of Bikeru rivulet. Now this is one of the tributary of which river? River Musi in Telangana. Getting my point? So this is the tributary of river Musi in Telangana region. Getting my point? Now third important thing that we need to know, that is discovery. What are the things or from when these excavations started? So this site was first discovered and protected during the period of Nizam. It was first discovered and protected during the period of Nizam, and it was excavated in 1940s, and it was excavated by Shri Khaja Mehmad Ahmad. Getting my point? Shri Khaja Mehmad Ahmad. Clear? Now remember, the most important thing here is that we need to understand that it was not a lone site in this zone. Getting my point? There are several Buddhist sites also nearby region. Clear? Now apart from this, I would like to tell that this Panigiri village, it was also important in terms of prehistoric period, proto-historic period, early historic period. Getting my point? Then early medieval period. So this period is very important. And then this period, this Fanigiri period, also important in terms of Asaf Jahi. Clear? So this was important during the time period of Asaf Jahi also. So this shows that inhabitants came there, and in this region had a vibrant life from 1000 BC till 18th century AD. Getting my point? So this is the importance of this place with respect to history. Now, apart from this, what type of coins have been excavated? So lead coins. Lead coins have been excavated. Clear? So a globular pot was found, and that pot was filled with this lead coins. So there were total 3730 coins. कितने coins पूरे उस pot में पाए गए हैं? 3730 points. Getting my point? And now the question here is, what is the average weight of these coins? So the average weight of these coins was around 2.3 grams. Getting my point? It was around 2.3 grams. Clear? Now, there were other findings also. Clear? While during the excavation, other findings were also there, like beads of stone and glass, shell bangle fragments were found, then stucco motifs were found, then broken limestone sculptures were also there, and another important thing, the toy cart wheel. Getting my point? Toy cart wheel, iron nails and pottery. So these were the things which were also found while during the excavation. Now, what are the main observation from these coins? So let me tell you, as you can see this image here, this is the image of the coin. On the obverse side, image of elephant, and on the reverse side, image of Ujjain. Getting my point? So from this we came to know, now this obverse side and this reverse side. So reverse side Ujjain. Clear? Obverse side elephant. So that is why from this we came to know that these coins belongs to Ikshvaku period. Getting my point? So that is why from this we concluded that these coins belongs to Ikshvaku period. Getting my point? So these informations with respect to excavations. Now we'll try to discuss about the story of Ikshvaku kingdom. Getting my point? Because these coins which are excavated, which are found at Fanigiri village, belongs to Ikshvaku period. Getting my point? Now, Ikshvaku kingdom. Now try to understand. Now, first of all, let me tell you that Ikshvaku kingdom is also known as Suryavamsha dynasty. It is also known as Suryavamsha or solar dynasty. Clear? Now, this was founded by a chief whose name was Chamtamula. अब ये कौन था? ये फ्यूडल लॉर्ड था, ये ऑफिसर था सतवाहना किंगडम में. क्लियर? सो दिस एम्पायर और दिस किंगडम वाज फाउंडेड बाय चमतामूला, हु वाज अ फ्यूडेटरी ऑफ Satavahanas. Getting my point? So this dynasty was founded after the decline of Satavahanas around 220 AD. Clear? So as you can see here, this time period, clear, that this was founded around 220 AD to 320 AD. That means this dynasty was there for 100 years only. Clear? Now what was the location of this dynasty? Andhra region and Telangana. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana region. Capital city was Vijaypuri. Yes, capital city was Vijaypuri. Now let me tell you one of the story that this ruler, this feudal lord Chamtamula, अब इसने अपनी प्रेस्टीज बढ़ाने के लिए क्या किया? Chamtamula claimed his legitimacy as a sovereign king by performing Ashwamedh sacrifice. Ashwamedh sacrifice, which was considered as royal Brahmical sacrifice, Clear? That ended with horse sacrifice. Getting my point? Now, so the time period, so the capital city was Vijaypuri. Clear? So Vijaypuri is considered as very important region, and this was discovered in 1920. Yes, this was discovered in 1920. Now, let me tell you now why Vijaypuri is important. So Vijaypuri is important because Vijaypuri city hosted the most important personality whose name was Nagarjuna. Now Nagarjuna was also known as second Buddha, who founded the philosophy called as Madhyamaka philosophy, which is called as Madhyam Marg philosophy in Mahayana Buddhism, or middle path of Mahayana Buddhism. So this city also hosted Nagarjuna, who is also called as second Buddha. This much is clear to all of you? Getting my point? Now, apart from these things, what was the religion? Now, first of all, the most important thing here is what was the religion of Ikshvakus? So, Ikshvakus patronized Buddhism, particularly Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism. Then they also patronized Brahmanism and other old folk religion. Getting my point? This one is clear to all of you. Now, apart from this, gender bias in religious faith. Yes, in this dynasty, you can observe that there was gender biasness in terms of religious faith. Now, question is how? Because the kings mostly patronized Brahmanism and they imagined themselves as the descendants of Lord Ram. Getting my point? Now, why gender biasness? Because king mostly patronized Brahmanism and they imagined themselves as the descendants of Lord Ram. On the other hand, queen and wealthy women, they patronize Buddhism. अब आप देखिए किंग क्या पैट्रोनाइज कर रहा है? ब्राह्मणिज्म. क्वीन एंड वेल्दी women patronize Buddhism. Getting my point? That is why it is written here, gender biasness in religious faiths also. This was the structure of society at that time. Clear? Now, what was the nature of society at that time? So, in terms of society, when we say, so the ruling class, the royal class, they used to live. So, royal class used to live at citadel. Citadel means on the upper part or high upraised platform. Getting my point? So, royal class at that time, royal family, they lived in a citadel on a hill, while the less well-off class or common people, now less well-off class or you can say common people, they used to live in the houses made of bamboo and thatch. This much is clear to all of you? Bamboo and thatch. Clear? So, in society, discrimination and you can see inequality was there. Getting my point? Apart from this, at that time, there are religious carvings. Clear? There are some relief carvings which mentions about goddess Sati. So, relief carvings. So, mentioned about goddess Sati. तो इससे हमें क्या पता चलता है? दैट इट गिव्स द अर्लीस्ट एविडेंस ऑफ सती सिस्टम फ्रॉम साउथ इंडिया. Getting my point? It gives earliest evidence of sati system from South India. Now, apart from this, economy. So, in terms of economy, they had trade relations, traded with Rome. Now, how we came to know? Because Roman coins are found. Roman coins are also found in this region. So Roman Empire was the most important trading partner of Ikshvaku also. Getting my point? Now, so this was a structure during this time period: economic, society, religion, clear biasness, clear inequality was there. Now, how this empire or how this kingdom got declined? So what are the reasons for the decline of Ikshvaku? Now, there are multiple reasons for the decline of Ikshvaku kingdom. Like over the decade or two, Krishna river rose and began flooding the capital, that is Vijaypuri, clear, capital city, that made people to move out. This was the first important reason for the decline of this Ikshvaku kingdom. Now, at the same time, there is also evidence of plunder, destruction, and also breaking of statues by an invading army of Pallavas from 4th century AD. Getting my point? So Pallava army, they started destroying and breaking this kingdom, clear, and it also resulted into the decline of Ikshvaku kingdom. Getting my point? So finally, by 320 AD, this kingdom was completely abolished and abandoned. Getting my point? So this is all about Ikshvaku kingdom and recent excavation. So I hope this much is clear to all of you. Thank you so much.